Tonight, an emergency operation to remove millions of dead fish from the Darling Barker River. And we knew it was good, now everyone else does too. A bargain bottle of Clare Valley Chardonnay named one of the best in the world.
From our 7 Spencer Gulf Studios, your nightly news with Madeline Kerr begins now.
Good evening, thanks for joining us. An emergency response centre is being set up in Menindee following one of the most catastrophic fish deaths ever seen in Western New South Wales. Millions of bony bream and native species are dead, floating down the Darling Barker River, with fears it could lead to an ecological disaster. Residents say they knew this would happen. Authorities say they've never seen anything like it. An almost incomprehensible number of dead fish covering the width of the Darling Barker River. These pictures shocking the world.
This is unprecedented in terms of the millions of fish that have died as a result of hypoxic black water.
Having high water temperatures as well as low oxygen is where we're getting this catastrophic fish kill event.
Their carcasses, once floating, now beginning to sink.
And all of that organic material eventually sort of falls down to the bottom of the river, and some of it will get swept away and others will sort of just settle in the river. It then adds fuel to that decomposing organic matter.
A multi-agency operations centre is being set up in Menindee to coordinate the situation from the ground. The Regional Emergency Operations Controller now sourcing specialised contractors to head west.
We're just trying to negotiate a timeframe for them to attend. I haven't got a timeframe at the moment, but I anticipate it will be this week, and obviously for the people of Menindee, I want that to be sooner rather than later.
But we need to bring together people from all areas, from communities through to people in engineering and water security, to those biologists and ecologists looking at each layer of this ecosystem.
Associate Professor Joy Becker says we need to get better at predicting when things like this happen.
And the ultimate goal is that we get to a point where we're able to forecast or better predict a lot further out when we might have a high risk of a fish kill event happening.
Officers insist there's nothing wrong with drinking the local water supply, so long as it's not from the river.
There has been no complaints whatsoever with regards to the water quality.
Madeline Kerr, 7 Spencer Gulf News. The state government is urging Port Augusta locals to be patient and let the outreach program have the time it needs to curb the city's antisocial behaviour problem. It's also rejected re-adopting the old City Safe program previously run by the City Council.
As scrutiny over Port Augusta's antisocial crisis increases, Member for Stewart Jeff Brock is asking for more time.
We need to give this new the outreach program an opportunity to do it, but we need to work in with also the police themselves, because when we have these issues, it is a police issue. It can't be a Department of DHS or anything like that. It's about policing. So I'm glad to see the police are doing that.
There's been varied success in the 5 months since the program launched.
We need to try and sharpen what it is we are delivering to be more effective. I don't think there's any doubt about that, but that's going to take time to do that. It's not something we can just come out tomorrow and make happen. Are we willing to look at solutions? Absolutely we are.
Reinstated City Councillor John Naisbitt says more funding is needed.
The various agencies of the town need to step up. They get money for all sorts of things, but there doesn't seem to be anything happening in that respect.
And despite its previous success, the state government has rejected bringing back the City Safe program. Instead, it's insisting on seeing the outreach program through.
This is a new program. This is a new idea about working all the agencies here. Port Augusta has got many state and federal agencies here to do with behavioural issues, helping people, whether Indigenous or non-Indigenous people, about that. We need to utilise their expertise. We need to utilise their information, their funds they've already got.
Daniel Pizarro, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
A bottle of Chardonnay produced by Taylor's Wines in the Clare Valley has been named the best Australian white wine at a prestigious international wine competition. Our reporter Annabelle Francis spoke with the third-generation winemaker, Mitchell Taylor, about this epic accolade.
Our part of the world definitely left an impression at the 32nd Mundus Vini International Wine Awards.
Really highlights the quality that comes out of South Australia. We produce probably some of the most diverse ranges of wines from all our different regions.
More than 7,500 wines from across the globe were critically tasted and evaluated over 6 days. And Clare Valley's Taylor's Wines won the Best of the Show Australian White Wine for their Jarraman Chardonnay, named Best Producer from Australia.
Vintage 2022, and it's a beautiful blend of Adelaide Hills Chardonnay, where there's lovely length and pear and aromatics on the nose, and then we've got lovely Clare Valley melon and peach flavours coming through.
You'll soon be able to try this award-winning wine for yourself at the southern end of the valley in a brand new cellar, opening in May.
We've got a beautiful sculpture park there, and the new building, we've restored the old homestead there and really extended it out.
Jarraman Chardonnay is available in all good bottle shops. Annabelle Francis, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Still to come tonight, a trio of councils join forces to plan healthy outcomes for Eyre Peninsula locals. And the Port Pirie woman heading to Europe to compete in a pageant with a difference. Welcome back. 3 Spencer Golf councils are working together to maintain the health of their regions, creating the Southern Eyre Peninsula Regional Public Health Plan.
Joining forces on the health front for another 5 years.
This is an update from the 2015 plan, and Council have collaborated with the other 2 councils, our neighbours on the Southern Eyre, so the District Council of Lower Eyre Peninsula and Tumby Bay.
Port Lincoln Mayor Diana Mislov says the plans are updated once new information comes to hand. And 3 years on since the pandemic began, we now know a lot more.
It's important to update our statistics and to update the initiatives that that we can concentrate on in the future, and also to align ourselves with the broader South Australian plan.
The 4 pillars of the plan are promote, protect, prevent and progress.
It encompasses a whole range of initiatives that are both collaborative with the other councils and then individually council specific.
Councillor Mislov is especially interested in 2 areas of the plan, one of which is the region's 28% volunteer rate.
I think that's a really good contribution that the community are making to volunteer roles. So the volunteer management plan, that is an initiative of the City of Port Lincoln to develop and implement, will be a good one.
The second part of the plan that stands out to the Port Lincoln Mayor is the number of children in low-income families.
The Youth Action Plan will also be able to be developed and implemented and maybe assist some of those children.
The draft plan is now open to the public.
We encourage residents, service groups, anyone to submit a feedback on the plan and provide us with their information so that we can incorporate that.
Alison Hall, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Spencer Golf model Victoria is turning heads on the runway. Walking away with the highest score at the Shining Lights pageant in Melbourne, she'll now go on to represent Australia at the international finals in Ireland.
These pageants aren't all about the glitz and glamour. Contestants are raising much-needed funds to help those in need.
All the fundraising and raising awareness of different charities, and I'm supporting the Cure Brain Cancer Foundation in memory of my mum who passed away in 2017 from it.
I fundraise for Cystic Fibrosis SA that I support with a dear friend of mine that has cystic fibrosis.
And Jasmine recently competed in the Shining Lights pageant in Melbourne and took home some impressive titles. As a result, they will represent Team Australia at the international finals in Ireland. But there is a lot of work to be done until then.
So this whole year will be community events and fundraising for my charity. So looking forward to it.
Through pageants, these ladies have developed key skills and formed extraordinary bonds.
Pageantry has really brought out my confidence in myself and public speaking as well as we work through interviews and everything.
And if you think it's too late to give pageants a try, think again.
You only live once. Don't ever be afraid to give anything a shot because you don't know where it's going to lead you. I mean, I'm 36 years old and I finally won an international title.
You can follow these pageant queens on social media and support them on their journey to Ireland next year. Annabelle Francis, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. A Kluger driver loses his licence after a police pursuit in the mid-north. And kitten cuteness in Port Lincoln after another successful adoption day. Welcome back. A Moonta Bay man has been charged after allegedly being clocked going more than 60 kilometres over the limit at Bungama. The 42-year-old driver of a grey Toyota Kluger is accused of travelling at 162 kilometres an hour in a 100 zone on the Augusta highway on Friday afternoon. Police terminated the pursuit after the man allegedly began driving dangerously, overtaking cars at speeds of over 180 kilometres an hour. The man was eventually pulled over. Police also allege he tested positive to cannabis and may face further charges. He was bailed to appear in the Port Pirie Magistrates Court on May the 8th and has lost his licence for 6 months. His passenger, a 34-year-old woman from Craigmore, was fined for alleged cannabis possession. For anyone having a rough day, our next story will lift your spirits. 4 cats found their forever homes in Port Lincoln over the weekend on National Adoption Day.
South Australians are being encouraged to help find a forever home for pets in need this National Pet Adoption Month.
With over 7,400 pets currently looking for adoption, it's a great time to give a new pet who needs a home, a loving new home.
And with a rescue pet comes some perks.
Many of them are already trained, they've had their veterinary and health checks, and a lot of them really seem to appreciate their new loving home. They provide us with support, companionship, they encourage us to get out and exercise. So everyone should consider adopting a rescue pet if they want to bring a new pet into their family.
Some Spencer Golf locals are discovering these benefits firsthand after visiting Petstock on the weekend for National Pet Adoption Day.
We had 4 adoptions on the weekend down at Petstock. They were great down there. We had lots of people coming and walking through, so inquiring about any upcoming kittens as well. So overall, it was a really great day.
Some early numbers that have come through for South Australia was nearly 30 kittens, another nearly 30 cats, as well as 4 rabbits and 4 guinea pigs, and then a couple of dogs as well.
If you missed out and feel ready to welcome a furry friend into the family, there's no need to worry.
If you're looking to adopt, it's not just through National Adoption Day or Adoption Month. The RSPCA are there all the time, and there's more adoption groups throughout South Australia to broaden your scope.
Alison Hall, 7 Spencer Golf News.
And the Port Augusta Cricket Association held its grand final on Saturday, South Augusta winning the flag for the 2nd year in a row. The Bulldogs took to the crease with Corn at Etzer Oval on Saturday. After winning the toss and opting to bat first, South Augusta were all out for 150. Their opponents couldn't chase them down, falling by 29 runs. The boys in white and red declared back-to-back champions. And over in Port Lincoln, it was the A-grade preliminary final between Tasman and Charlton, which decided who will be in this weekend's grand final clash. Tasman's proving too good for Charlton, progressing into the final matchup at Centenary Oval on Saturday. Stay with us after the break. Good and bad news for our Spencer Golf-born AFL products as round 1 comes to an end. And possible showers in some parts tonight. We'll have the weather details with Alex Sykes. Welcome back. Round 1 of the AFL and Port Adelaide has come from behind to smash Brisbane in a spectacular recovery. Port Augusta's Connor Rosie was part of a strong midfield, but Crows' Tex Walker has been slammed during his slides loss to GWS. And there's some bad news for Isaac Keeler.
A tough pre-season for the Power, and round 1 looked even tougher as they faced the Lions, who took the lead. Port Augusta's Connor Rosie took 1 goal, 23 disposals and 6 tackles in a worthy performance, and his midfield form continues to improve.
In on the act, and this is Francis Evans. Little handoff to Rosie with a run-up. He gives it plenty. Oh, what a star! Everyone's getting in on the act.
Power found their on switch and clawed back, taking their win by an impressive 54 points at final siren.
You know, with a win, I think everyone's, playing on confidence and backing their structures in. So it's good to see how, the work we've been putting in all pre-season, and, I think that's kind of, I know that's how we play. So it's good to come out and, show everyone, not just us, but the fans, that, that's the type of footy we can bring.
Meanwhile, the Crows found themselves squashed despite a goal from Broken Hill's Taylor Walker, and Adelaide leading GWS by 28 points at half-time. The Giants bolted ahead in the final quarter, with Walker's performance slammed on Twitter for this turnover that might have been the biggest blunder during the game.
Out of zone call.
Walk off the ball. GWS.
Oh, that's a Giants free kick.
Against Walker in the middle of the ground.
And it's going. He's going to pay a huge penalty for it.
Yeah, he's paid a block.
At final siren, Adelaide went down by 3 goals as the team reflect on their shock loss. Coach Matthew Nix clearly crestfallen.
Some of it was, our own doing. I thought we really dropped away in a couple of areas, but, disappointing. I think the guys are really disappointed. We'd like to have knocked a few more through in that first half, and maybe the game was done, but in the end, our opposition were too good in the second half.
And over at St Kilda, Port Augusta's Isaac Keeler looks set to be out of action for up to 9 weeks due to the knee injury he suffered during pre-season. He could miss out on half the season. Daniel Pizarro, 7 Spencer Golf News.
No good for Isaac. Hopefully he has a speedy recovery. But thank you, Daniel. But it's time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather with Alex Sykes. Alex, it was much cooler in Clare today.
It was, Maddie, especially when compared to last week when we saw temps in the high 20s and early 30s. Not today though. 17.9 was the max recorded at 2 p.m. this afternoon. Elsewhere, cloudy top of 27 in Port Augusta today. Whyalla reached 22 degrees. A few degrees warmer in Woodna, 25 degrees there. Looking more broadly at today's weather map now, 35 was the top temp today, up in Cooper Pedy, 29 over the border in Broken Hill, 24 in Port Pirie and Adelaide. Taking a look at the satellite image now, a ridge of high pressure will persist until the middle of the week, with another ridge extending south of the Bight into next weekend. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. Southeasterly winds 10 to 20 knots. Seas changing throughout the day under a metre to up to 1.5. South to southwesterly swell also 1 to 1.5 metres. Between 15 degrees and 25 in Port Lincoln tomorrow, a sunny 28 in Cleve and a sunny top of 32 in Woodna. Mostly sunny in Whyalla and set to reach a high of 29 degrees, 33 in Port Augusta on Wednesday. Cloud clearing around Kadina between 14 and 29 degrees. It's set to reach a high of 31 degrees in Port Pirie. A possible morning shower on the way for Clare, heading for around 28 degrees there. And Broken Hill, partly cloudy and a top of 31 degrees. Taking a look further through the week now, starting with Wednesday's outlook. Sunny and 31 in Port Augusta and Port Pirie. Bit of cloud around Woodna, 30 degrees there. Partly cloudy in Port Lincoln as well, 23. 34 in Broken Hill, 35 in Cooper Pedy. Moving on to Thursday's forecast now. A sunny from Kadina and above. A bit of cloud around the capital and Port Lincoln. Whyalla, a sunny top of 25. 33 in Broken Hill, 28 in Port Augusta. And finally, taking a quick look at how Friday is shaping up. warm but cloudy. 27 degrees in Port Augusta and Port Pirie, 29 is forecast for the Silver City, 28 in Budna, 26 in Kadina, partly cloudy and 22 on the way for Port Lincoln. And that's all the weather from me for tonight. I'll see you a little later with an update. It's back to you, Maddie.
Thanks for that, Alex. And that's the local news this Monday. I'm Madeline Kerr. From all of us here, thanks for joining us. I'll have updates a little later, but until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.